Does the URL, does the domain matter? Which domain should you get when you're firing up a business or a side hustle? Does the domain play a role? Yes, absolutely. It's a common question that I get asked, especially in the startup of a business or a rebrand. Which domain is best for SEO and Google and rankings and things like that? And my advice is always the same, that if you are a legitimate, genuine business, you want to grow like a real brand, you should have a brandable domain. Now, the next question is, isn't keywords in the domain important? Bonus points if you can include the main keyword in the most broad manner. So if you do tree removal, and that's the only thing that you do, well, bonus points if the term tree removal should be in the URL. Now, ideally you want something at the start. You want something that will be create your brand as a unique brand. Now, while Eugenius over here will always buy exact match domains for his lead gen sites, my rank and rent sites, my private sites that I progress and rank and push leads, in the long run, it's better to have a brandable domain. So something like pro tree removal, that one's taken. Things like eco tree removal, that one's taken. A lot of them are taken, but you can get creative. You have your own upbringing, you've come from certain backgrounds, there are cool little historic things that you can pull up, plus the key term. So there's unlimited ways. So is it important to have the key term inside? It will help greatly, because you're sending signals to Google early on that you perform this service. But it's not just a signal to Google. If someone scrolling through Google sees options that they can click on. Now, if your root domain has the term tree removal in it, it's pretty clear that you offer these services. Whereas other lead gen sites, white pages, it's /Melbourne /tree removal, you might not see that. And you will generally move closer to the thing that's more similar to what you are searching for. So if you're searching for tree removal, Abdul's tree removal, you guess that it's gonna be tree removal service. So another reason I always recommend to grab a brandable domain is because there's something that I've noticed over the last few years where Google sees brand search volume as an indirect ranking factor, meaning when Google sees that there are people looking for your name, your exact name, and they are clicking on your site after Googling that particular key term, for example, the term Xero, the accounting software spelt with an X instead of a Z, right? You're educating Google and the algorithms and the search engines of this new brand. So if they're Googling your personal name, your private name, your name becomes a key term. Now, if your domain is literally tree removal, then there's so much, it's so broad, Google will never really give that brand name to you, because the intent of tree removal is I'm looking for the service, not the brand. So it's always going to be difficult to show Google brand search volume in that space. So another point to having a branded domain. But once again, let me make it clear. Branded domain plus the keyword is my favorite personally. Now, if you've already got a domain and it's nothing to do with the key term and you're wondering, can I rank that domain? The answer is yes. I don't even want to say it's going to be harder, but let's just say that if you picked out 50 one-word branded domains where the key term is not the key term you want to rank for, and then put it up against 50 domains with that same brand plus the key term behind it, and you not actually throw up, but you built out 10 service pages, a whole bunch of blogs on the topic, and a whole bunch of backlinks on the site, and you just left them to marinate. My data shows me that the sites with the brand name plus the key term rank better. Now, That's just an experiment, right? We're talking about 100 domains, 50 of which have the key term, 50 of which don't. We're just doing real baseline SEO stuff, upfront stuff, where it's just the service pages, some blogs, and some links, and we just leave them to marinate for a year or 2 years. The domains with the key term will have an advantage. Now, if we simply just start SEOing the shit out of the domain with just the brand, then that'll win, of course, because we're performing active SEO, we're doing backlinks, we're doing all sorts of stuff. That will always win. I'm just talking about for a small business that has minimal budgets, that will be my approach. If you already have one of those branded domains that doesn't have a key term and you're wondering, should I change the domain? Hold your horses. It just depends on where you're at. You might have a lot of plumbing, a lot of electrical cables already plugged to your site, backlinks, so restarting may cause more damage than you think is good. But back to choosing the domain, if you're still in the air, then I would be going for brand plus key term. Another reason why I do that is because when we start building backlinks to your domain, if you don't have a brand, it makes it really hard to build anchor text and control the branded anchor text versus generic, because if your domain is literally tree removal, that's one of the services that you'll offer. You'll offer tree lopping, you might offer stump removal, that kind of stuff, right? So when you're building backlinks, all the links end up being main anchor text links, which is not ideal for SEO. So having a brand gives me a whole cluster of links to build, because you can build branded links, which is just your brand. You can build a backlinks with your naked URL. You could build your brand plus key term, brand plus key term plus service, brand plus key term plus geo plus city. There's just so many more variations you can naturally build links for. So just the recent case I had was a gentleman that specializes currently in bathroom renovations. But I said, hey, do you only want to be limited to bathrooms? If the answer is yes, then bathrooms should be in the URL. But a lot of the time, in a few years, they might want to do tiling. Okay, tiling's within bathrooms, so that could make sense. It'll be John's bathrooms and then / tiling services or grouting and stuff like that. But then what happens if you actually want to market towards kitchens? Sure, we can add kitchens to the URL, but it begins to look a bit different. And what I mean by different, there's no wrong or right ways to do this. It's just that when someone is looking at the SERP result on Google and they're deciding who to click on, they're going to see John's bathrooms, and then they're going to have John's bathrooms / kitchens. So they're looking for someone to build their kitchens. They're going to choose the site that's gunning for kitchens right from the beginning, or they're going to choose a site that's like John built by John, and then John does bathrooms / then kitchens / then laundry. So these are different pages, different services. So what I suggest you broaden the key term. So it's like John's construction. That could be so broad, because if ever you're wanting to sell the business and you've got these different services that you guys offer, there's more ways that more directions you can take the site. So if you're in constructions, you do home renovations, your domain might literally be John's Renovations. Okay, that opens things up to all of the waterproofing, the maintenance, the outdoors, the indoors, all that kind of stuff. Hope that helps. So understand basic search volumes. So go to Google AdWords, create a free account, and they've got something called a AdWords Keyword Planner or Google Keyword Planner. You've got Google Trends. You've got SEMrush, which is a paid tool, but there's a trial version. You've got keywords everywhere. There's so many tools these days which give you keyword volumes. Know your keyword and choose the key term that gets the most search volume. Now, forget about ranking for bathroom renovations Melbourne. It just won't happen, right? But having that term in the URL will give you a high chance for when you do pick up that Google listing, you do register the address at Brighton or Bondi or wherever you are. The fact that key term is in your brand name, it's in your business name, will give you a higher chance of showing up in those particular suburbs after that Google listing goes live. But that's a separate conversation. I might make a different video about it. Hope that makes sense, and let me know if you have any questions and you got some suggestions on domains. I'll comment on what I would do if I was in your shoes.